Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. My name is Tom from 6 Foot Networks. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to quickly shoot this video because I finally received my notice to schedule my car for its software update. And it took a while to get here. The date on this says up here December 2021. And I don't know why. I took it right out of the mailman's hands today. So in any case, it's here, and it looks like they are describing as follows. Thanks again for your continued patience as the team at Chevrolet works quickly as we can to provide you with the replacement battery modules for your Bolt EV. Battery replacements have begun, and we continue to work with our battery suppliers to obtain more battery modules to help speed up the replacement process. We are pleased to inform you that we have developed an advanced diagnostic software package that will remove the parking and charging limitations on your 2020 model year Bolt EV vehicle while we work on building replacement battery modules. This software will automatically limit your vehicle's maximum charging state to 80%, which will allow you to safely resume charging indoors overnight, depleting your vehicle's battery below 70 miles, 113 kilometers of range, resulting in greater overall vehicle range compared to GM's prior interim charging guidance, and parking indoors after charging. This software also contains new diagnostics designed to detect abnormalities that might indicate a rare battery issue in your vehicle. So it goes on. This software is now available for your 2020 model Bolt year. This software is now available for your 2020 model year Bolt EV vehicle. Yeah, I have a hard time with my English language, don't I? Schedule a service appointment at your preferred Chevrolet EV dealer to have the software installed. The service should take approximately 1 to 3 hours to complete. Until you have the software installed, we ask that you still follow our previous guidelines, which are outlined on our website at www.chevy.com/BoltEVRecall. This software is not final recall remedy, and you will be notified when battery modules are available for replacement. Once again, we appreciate your patience and understanding. If you have any questions, please contact the Chevy EV concierge or your preferred Chevrolet EV dealer. All right, so there you have it. I'm not quite sure what to do about this. You know, it's funny in more than one way that, you know, I'm advocating for the safety of these vehicles, but at the same time, I feel like the software update will put me into a strange position because, as you guys know, I drive my car the way it was originally designed to be driven. You know, I follow the recall as best as I can, the recommendations of the recall as best as I can, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm 100%, you know, following those guidelines. And I'll explain myself here a little bit. You guys know that I drive all over Los Angeles, sometimes more than just Los Angeles. And although most of the time I'm within city limits and I'm within a fast charger, within range of a fast charge, that it doesn't really matter. You know, I'll take a lunch break and plug my car in for a half hour, 45 minutes or whatever, and I'm good to go. And typically I don't drop my car below 70 miles of range. Although yesterday, as you guys know from yesterday's video, I was in Santa Monica with my wife and son and also our dog for an event that, you know, took me from pretty much 85% charge to, on our way home, I ended up hitting that 70 miles remaining mark. So when I'm working, when I'm on the clock, I have a little bit more flexibility with regards to my schedules, with regards to my, you know, my routine. But when I'm with family, especially when you're dealing with a young child, it's not possible for me to really stop and, you know, fast charge unless it's kind of, you know, a requirement. Like we're doing a road trip and we have to stop anyway for lunch. But, you know, yesterday my wife was running a half marathon and there wasn't any room for us to fast charge on the way home. Also, I wasn't in range necessarily of a fast charging station that would accommodate us. But, that's not to say that I couldn't have gone out of my way. But the thing is when you have, an athlete that's, sore, tired, exhausted, whatever, from a run, the last thing you want to do is extend your run, or extend your time out of your house by a half hour or 45 minutes, especially when you're dealing with LA traffic. In other words, what I'm trying to say is I don't think I'll be able to do the software update, because I need to know that if I need to drive the car maximum range, the 259 miles or whatever the car can charge up to at 100%, then I need to have that. As an engineer, I trust this vehicle. I have driven it very hard for the last, 14 months now, 13 months, 14 months. And I don't know if there's a manufacturing defect in it or not. I will tell you, though, that once the battery is available, I will jump on that like, hyenas jumping on a lion, because I feel like this will add a little bit of complexity to my life, more so than it already has. But you know what? It's something to think about for sure. I think that as long as I maintain the recommended guidelines as best as I can for as long as I can, don't leave the car plugged in, don't charge it indoors, don't drop it below 70 miles. I do it within reason. So if I drop it below 70 miles, it doesn't stay there for long. I don't keep it there, for more than a few hours, and then I immediately, charge it up. If I'm at home, it's a level 2 charge. If I'm out and about, it's a DC fast charge, of course. But, in reading this letter, I wish I had the flexibility. And I've actually been thinking, this was a thought that occurred to me last night. Had a case of insomnia last night, so didn't sleep much. But typically when I have insomnia, some interesting thoughts come to mind. And one of them was, what if I were to sign over my Bolt EV to the company and keep it there, since it does belong in some ways to 6 Foot Networks, I would just keep it for 6 Foot Networks and leave it the way that it is, and then deal with the replacement when the time comes. That said, I could get another EV either to replace my wife's RAV4, or, I don't know, or get a third car, which may make more sense. But I haven't thought it through all the way. So there's obviously a big financial implication, more so than, I would have expected to start the year with. And on top of that, I'm not quite sure what I would get out of it, I mean, granted, a third car, everybody wants cars. So what car would it be? Or would I wait for, some of the newer cars that are coming down the line? For me, I'm a big dude, I won't deny it. I'm, 6.5 feet tall, 300 some odd pounds. And, it takes a lot for me to get in and out of cars. However, the Bolt EV has proven to be very accommodating for my size, my weight, everything. It's easy for me to get in and out of the car. I can even fit in the back seat. If you don't believe me, look back at some of the videos. I've actually, had full-on conversations with my child while he's in his booster seat. So, and me sitting on the bench with him. So it's kind of an interesting feat that GM managed to pack so much interior space into such a small frame. Obviously, without having the ICE engine in front, it gave it a little bit more room for the legs and stuff like that. So, where do I stand? Well, okay, so in closing, I got the letter. I know what I should do, but I think I know what I'm going to do, and that is to hold off on this for the reasons that I've mentioned, because if I literally have a car that has its new 100% be 80% of the original charging state or capability of the battery, that's not enough for me. You know, Los Angeles, for those who don't know, is spread across, you know, miles and miles of land. You know, there's mountains, there's long stretches of road that go between towns and cities. And it, just to give you a little bit of clarification, I am sitting in the living room of my house right now in Santa Clarita, California. If I were to get up, walk out the door, get in my car, get in my Bolt TV, and drive to downtown Los Angeles proper, not only would it probably take me between 90 minutes and 2 hours to do so, but it is almost a 50-mile drive. So if you factor that in, for me to get to one of my clients is 50 miles one way. There's no fast charging between here and there unless I stop at a Walmart or something else to do lunch or whatever. If I were to receive a phone call right now and there would be an emergency for me to go, I'm taking my car with whatever state of charge it has, which right now it's full. I charged it last night. This morning I took Eddie to school with it, so I only put about 6 or 7 miles on the car this morning. But essentially, there's 85% of battery remaining. So if I jumped in and go, that 100 miles would be consumed pretty quickly. In fact, I would end up below GM's guidelines, and that's just with one visit. If I have to do 2 during the day or 3 during the day, then obviously that hinders it even more. You know, in the past, before this recall was a thing for us, I could visit 3 sites without a problem. Granted, I would come home and the car would be flashing all sorts of indicators saying, hey, you're about to be pushing your car into your driveway. You know, I obviously don't do that anymore, so there's a little bit more brain power that's involved to get from point A to point B and potentially point C and then back home. So, you know, for business purposes, it's fine because I bill for the time, I bill for the mileage, it's not an issue. And typically most of my stuff is flat rate, so it's absorbed under the project cost anyway. However, if I'm with family, that's unbillable time. If I'm driving, you know, a 400 or 500 mile road trip from here to say Mammoth, California, you know, to see the snow or what have you, you're going to want to get there. You know, your family's not going to want to sit at a DC fast charger, especially with an 8-year-old who can't sit still in the back seat. You know, there's a lot of adjustments that have to be made, and it's tough. The first year that I had the car, so in 2020, we took a road trip from here to Mammoth, and that's why I use that as an example. The drive was supposed to take just under 5 hours. It took us 6.5 to get there because we had 2 fast charging sessions. 2, I want to say 40-minute fast charging sessions, and those were real super fast chargers. Like, they charged, and in 45 minutes I got most of my range back. So I left each charging facility with about 90% of charge. So it made sense for us, and it worked out. You know, I was able to do a proof of concept to my wife saying, hey, you know, EVs are not this scary technology that will leave you stranded on the side of the road, you know, in normal circumstances. And this was the case. So I trust my car. I believe that with my way of driving, if there would have been an issue, I'm pretty sure it would have happened already. I do keep an eye on the OnStar reports. I do now follow, well, not this one, but I do follow the guidelines that are listed here. You know, our garage is a gym, so we don't pull our cars in anyway. The driveway is where I charge. I have an EVSE that's mounted on the pillar of my garage door. That's like a gas station tap that kind of holds the handle, and then you can just unclick it and put it in the car. It's kind of nice, actually. And, you know, the 70 miles of range thing doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it doesn't stay there for very long. and I'm not sure, and maybe the guys that have, you guys that have already done this, like if you've gone through the dealership and gotten a software update, can you tell me specifically, the second bullet point on this letter states, you'll safely be able to resume depleting your vehicle's battery below 70 miles of range, resulting in greater overall vehicle range compared to GM's prior interim charging guidance. I don't quite understand that, because if I'm dealing with a battery that's capable of going from 100% to zero from the original design of the battery pack, and then this software update limits me permanently to 80% maximum state of charge, that tells me that I lose 20% forever. Well, until they replace the pack. I will never be able, my 100% will now be 80%. So how does the math line up with regards to gaining a greater overall vehicle range? Because the math in my head doesn't line up. And maybe it's me, I'm not a math expert, but if there's anybody out there that has gotten this software update and has gotten increased overall range, I don't know how that's, possible in the physical laws of science, but, I've been proven wrong before, and I've been educated on many other topics that it wouldn't surprise me if I was missing a detail. So if you can decipher that bullet point, please go down in the comments and let me know. I read all of your comments, and I really appreciate the conversations. And I will leave this here because I feel that I've talked your ears off enough. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope your new year has started great. We're in the second week already. It's hard to believe. My last week's training class was successful. I passed the capstone, and now I'm moving forward to get certified in this new technology. And hopefully within the next few months, I'll have another credential under my belt. And I guess until next time, guys, if you're still stuck around in this video, thank you so much. I really greatly appreciate it. Please go down in the comments, hit like, subscribe. It always helps the channel out. And until next time, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day.